Hands
His angle there,
Nathan, big
nice
left
kick.
Here comes Jordan
come back with those hands
Yeah, your
again.
boys are back over the interwebs.
Mm.
This kind of doesn't give me good vibes from a couple of years ago. This was feels like
Conference call.
But yeah, you got you mean Shane and Hugh. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm going pretty good, man.
It's been an absolute stinker in Sydney today.
Whew. This last couple of days in particular, man, it's been brutal. You know? But how is the weather in Queensland, mate?
The weather in Queensland for my short trip there was virtually exactly the same as Sydney, which is nice. It was beautiful sunshine and very hot.
It's like no accommodation at all. It's just like, yep, it's the same.
I think it might have been a little hotter maybe, but it was, virtually exactly the same.
Nice. So what we're talking about today is like we're doing a couple of recaps, and we're also doing a preview coming up. Let's go a little bit more in chronological order. So I'll backtrack from my Queensland comment. But so Hardcore Promotions was recently on, headlined by Cruz Briggs and Alexi Petroulias. We did an interview with Cruz Briggs the week before that from there, and the man did the job. We'll talk about a couple of fights from the card, but I didn't get to see any of this card. So how about you take us through the Cruz Briggs fight and Alexi Petroulias fight?
Yeah, it was, I think, when the way that a lot of people were kind of tipping it to, Cruz just had such distinct power advantage. He dropped Alexi in the first round with a pretty sweet right cross. He was quite relaxed. He talked to you in the lead up to the fight saying he didn't really want to rush. He didn't want to kind of come out and brawl right away. He wanted to pick his shots a little bit better, and I do think he did that. Alexi, well known to kind of get on the front foot and cut the ring off, does likes to get into the clinch, so to fight at sort of an elbow range. Cruz quite ready for it. Just set his feet and sent a right hand down the pipe. And Alexi more or less was playing catch up, I feel, for sort of the rest of the fight. Did start to have his moments. Alexi is such an experienced campaigner. A tough fight. It's nothing new to him. So he hung in there, cut Cruz back. Did cut Cruz in the second or the third round. Just started looking for a big kind of game-changing shot. Looking for the flashy stuff, spinning around and stuff like that. But Cruz was just stayed composed, kept ready for it. And eventually it was Alexi would not stay down. Multiple 8 counts, but eventually it was a cut. It was a doctor's stoppage by cut. Cruz started to let the elbows fly. I think 4th round. So a very, very strong performance for Cruz Briggs.
Yeah, what a whirlwind kind of year for him. Like as we talk about the interviews, like really just kind of stepping up to these really big fights from there and come out mostly successful, or if not, like stocks already raised, especially like the Jonathan Lulu fight is there. What do you see from this fight on? Like, what do you reckon's up next to him?
Well, it looks like he's kind of been a little bit of a tweener in terms of weight classes. And of course he wants fights, so he's happy to bounce between that sort of welterweight and super welterweight range. But I felt this was kind of the last 2 fights he's won the Nai Khanom Tom challenge title. I don't know if that's a win a title and defend it situation, or it's a bit more of a trophy title. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but a 2-time belt holder for the challenge belt. So it does look like he's kind of settled at welterweight and looks like he's making that weight quite comfortably. And as you can see by him putting people's lights out, he's a dangerous proposition down at 66.6. So I think if that's his focus class, look, I made it, unlike me, I made my opinion known after the fight. I want to see Cruz fight Max.
Yes,
I think that's the fight. I think with that performance, and if he has really kind of picked a class and he's going to go after the welterweight division, I think Cruz versus Max is the fight to make.
Yeah, that'll be a very awesome fight. Yeah, Max will be fighting next week as well, which we'll talk about from there. So especially if he is successful, even if he isn't from there, it's still a great fight down the line. Both these boys can make together.
I feel like that's the fight for the top spot at welterweight. So, of course, there's plenty more fights. It's a loaded weight class. I know Cruz has his eye internationally as well, but I mean, as does Max, right? But in terms of top end domestic fights and just fun as fuck style matchups, I'd buy a ticket to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is,
I think most people would.
I'm a hard sell.
I know where you put your money, that's like where it all goes.
Yeah.
So another fight that was on that, so the co-main event of Hardcore Promotions. We had Jack Matthews versus previous guest on the podcast as well, Issac Tomlinson, Kid Inc. out of Bones MMA. So this is for the WBC Victorian belt. They're 61.5 kilos. Take us through how that fight went down.
This was a fight that I really liked in the lead up. I'm not sure if I don't know if we actually ever got to preview it, but like one that I was really excited for a couple of reasons. Like I was stylistically very excited for it. I think it was that really good sort of perfect storm of you've got Jack Matthews as a guy who's kind of really burst through that Victorian professional development scene that we talk about a lot. He made a name for himself on Roots, has sort of started to crack that rebellion level now, and this was a step up to a mainstay of the class. So I like fun stories in matches like this, and I felt it was Jack Matthews who's kind of on the climb professionally versus Issac Tomlinson, who's come from that state level, previously held 2 state titles, took a shot at a really like top end national level fight and got knocked back a little bit. So kind of like the up and comer versus the veteran almost. Not that, like Issac Tomlinson is very much still an up and comer too, but this would have been a huge scalp for Jack Matthews to take. It was definitely the type of fight where Issac was out to prove he still had his place. But also, I love the fight stylistically. Like I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Jack Matthews. I don't know him personally. I've been really enjoying watching him fight, watching him come up through the ranks. I can see why shows like Hardcore and Rebellion are excited about him and getting invested in him. He's very active. I love that in an up and comer. I like to see guys that are having a go and fighting a lot. It's. I mean, look, personally, I think it's the way to do it. And also, it just means you get to see how quickly these guys can improve. And I know Issac personally, like I'm a big fan of him as a fighter. I was before I knew him, but I really like him as a person too. And I love the Bones guys. Like I really like. I get excited when I watch them fight. I want them to win. Just like adopted myself into their team as an extended member. No one invited me, but yeah. So that I was quite invested in. But I loved the way the fight played out too. I think Jack showed how much potential that he has because he played a very smart game. He did what you would do against Issac. Issac very flighty, quite crafty, likes to move around. I mean, I could be wrong. Just as an observer, I thought Jack was trying to take out Isac's legs, slow that movement down, keep him in one place, and he is a little bit probably got a bigger frame. So the more that he can keep Issac in one spot and stop that sort of unorthodox movement, stop that flighty footwork, the more he can start to impose that size and potentially strength advantage. And I thought the move from there was to try to then grind Issac down in the clinch through the money rounds, through 3 and 4, and kind of zap him with that energy and do some big damage through the midpoint of the fight and beyond. But Issac just had that little bit of craft and that little counter for everything and beautiful with the left kick. I think maybe surprised him a little bit in the clinch was had a couple of really good plays just kind of off balance and stay out of bad spots and not carry Jack around too much. And also just this absolutely sweet pat down counter elbow against the oncoming clinch attack opened up a cut. And at that point in the fight, it was where it was starting to look like Jack was starting to swing the momentum in his favor. But Issac just really snatched it back and ran away with it. Like super close fight, very competitive fight. But yeah, great decision. Win for Issac and a 3rd weight class. He's now won a state title in Victoria.
It's definitely a guy that's like he tried to touch that, like got that top level. They're good luck to be but like but I think he's just still hanging around for it. He's still got like a long lengthy career ahead of him, and Jack himself is like seen fight a couple times on the root shows and whatnot. And it's like him and his brother as well. Am I
Jack and
correct?
Daniel,
Like
yeah.
as Daniel? Man. Both like guys I just recently enjoyed watching a fair bit now. Want to see more
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, and we'll see his brother fight in 2 weeks at Roots against Kieran's boy Caleb Randall. So that's another fun fight. Yeah, I'm a big fan, huge fan. Hopefully they listen.
That's right. I'll take and make sure.
Yeah.
So just before we just finish off that hardcore, was there any other fights that you remember on there that's worth mentioning?
No disrespect to anyone if I forgot you, but just the ones that jump out. Gun Van Lunsen from Superfight Gym now dropped down to cruiserweight and sent his man to the absolute shadow realm with a fierce uppercut. I love Gun. Again, I'm a big fan of him as a fighter and as a person. Like him a lot. But a sweet KO, probably front runner at this point for KO of the year.
I saw a highlight of that one. Oof, man, absolutely
Monstrous. Okay, yeah, big power fighter. I think had a tough one against Cessio from Cowboy last time. Just got kind of stuck. He's very much a forward fighter. He's built like a rugby player. He is a former rugby player and built like a rugby player and moves forward like a Muay Thai, which is terrifying. But got stuck in his fight before, just kind of charging forward on straight lines. So I know he wanted to pick his shots a little bit better. But you see, once he smelled a little bit of blood in the water, it was just like that. All 90 kilos of him just flying through that uppercut. Scary knockout.
Yeah, nice. Love it. All right, so let's go from there, and then we'll move on to going to Queensland. Okay.
I have one more call out about hardcore.
Yep. Cool.
There was chainsaws in the walkout.
What? Chainsaws?
Maybe I'm seeing things. I am near positive that Cruz's teammate Moe moved down the entrance ramp with a chainsaw before Cruz walked out.
I don't know. So yeah,
no motorbikes this time, but chainsaws.
Well then, I have to check in on that one, but yeah, cool. You got to do something new, eh?
Yeah, innovating.
All right, okie dokie. So all right, cool. So yeah, let's go next into the Queensland show. You actually got on the plane and went up to the Muay Thai League show.
I'm a serious supporter.
I've no doubt. I don't doubt that for a second.
Yeah, I'd been meaning to get up to him for a while. I had a stack of friends on this card. As it developed, just more and more. My good mates getting matched, and I bought the tickets to go up like as soon as the date was confirmed, and then just more and more of my friends. I really back what Naki and Benji are doing. I'm huge fans of the brand, and wanted to just show my support and really get involved in one. And we've talked about me going up for various different reasons over the course of the shows, but just wanted to make sure I got up there and just supported it, and they took mad care of me up there. So thank you, Naki and Benji, for that. It was absolutely sick. Like, I'm really glad I went. Like, I went up to Queensland. I got there at 4 p.m. and I left at 6 a.m. Like, I barely went to Queensland. But I really liked it. It was this is what I was saying. I kind of chatted about the show with my trainer at this morning, and what I kind of said is, like, I've been to a lot of Muay Thai shows. And I continue to go to a lot of Muay Thai shows. I will be at Muay Thai shows for the next consecutive 4 weekends. So, like, maybe there is, where the layman, there is kind of like an inbuilt excitement just at the spectacle of it. Like, you're watching two people. Like, I'm desensitized to a lot of elements of being at a Thai boxing show. But this was the kind of show that was presented in a way that, factoring in that I traveled up for it, I really left like satisfied. Like, I felt like it was worthwhile. And I'm not just saying that because I like Naki and Benji a lot. It was a beautifully presented show. And it was something that we're starting to see more shows like this. Like, I would put it in a similar vein to like a Rebellion, like an upscale, commercially presented show. But I absolutely loved it. It was beautifully timed. The presentation was excellent. It felt classy. The walkouts were cool. But I often feel like when you're talking about walkouts being cool and you've got a big entrance ramp and stuff, it is very often done quite tacky. But like, if I had to describe it, it feels big sports. It feels like a real kind of commercial sporting event. And like, yeah, I absolutely loved Muay Thai League. I'm stoked with what they're doing up there.
Yeah, just I caught the live stream of this one, and like how like it was on the stream itself was like it was awesome. It's really well cut. The video packages were really nice as well, touched to as well. Interviews, but of course the man John Devina, you're never going to miss on those ones.
Yeah, yeah, it was
But
cool to see Democoli there. There's an element of continuity to having him MC all the big shows.
yeah, it's like you know it's a big thing when Devin Colley's on board.
And his flights were delayed, and there was. I did get a message from Naki at one point in the night, in the afternoon. What time do you get here? How would you go as an MC?
Wow, you just get thrown in the deep end.
Yeah, but for everyone's benefit, it didn't happen.
Did you pack a suit though?
Oh, I never leave home with that one.
Just in case. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about some fights here. So mainly, I'm just going to be looking at just the top main ones, and if there was any other ones afterwards that you know, because I haven't got to see all the fights, then
Mm-hmm.
we'll go. So one of the ones was Allegra Vickers from SRG versus Shane from Iron Fist Gym.
Iron Fist, yeah.
And yeah, it's like a Vickers. They're like originally from NT, I'm pretty sure, and then moved down to Sydney SRG, and seen them just only a couple of fights before. I think she's fought B before, maybe. I might be wrong on that one.
She
Then
has, yeah.
yeah, and Katie Mitchell, and
She fought B and she fought Katie Mitchell, and when Allegra fought Katie Mitchell, B was the referee. Just a fun fact.
Yeah, and it is fun. But like every time I seen her out, I found it to be pretty impressive. From Shanae, I've never really seen her much before, but like obviously very prominent in the Queensland scene. And you can see like the yeah, there was a definite size disadvantage advantage here for Allegra. And I think yeah, you're commentating the fight as well with Brody, correct?
Yeah. I jumped in for 3 fights or so, and I was on this one and was incredibly impressed with Allegra. Like, I'm in a similar position to you. I think my first kind of introduction to Allegra was against Katie Mitchell. Did we commentate that?
No, I don't think. Oh, I didn't commentate. So I think I was.
Yeah, I was definitely there. But was quite impressed. I think she fought Katie to a very, very competitive decision. And it looks like the move to SRG has been good for her. I think in this fight, like you could see, I don't know that Allegra was like heaps bigger than Cheyenne, but was definitely taller and longer. It was just kind of like the opposing body types, and Allegra just fought to her frame so beautifully, like used her teeps really nicely, and quite frankly, as soon as they clinched, there was a portion in the first round where it was just kind of like, okay, like there's just a really, really decided disparity in just their comfort and their ability in the clinch. Like Cheyenne was very just hands up and just sort of wilted to Allegra in that clinch, which is not great, just given Allegra is so built to throw those long knees. And the call from Lewis came immediately, just start to walk her down and get those knees up the center. So I thought she controlled the ring beautifully with the teeps and really kind of just like bullied Cheyenne around, just corner, rope, corner, just never let her get anything off. And Cheyenne was coming at her aggressive, but those teeps and those nice long jabs, fake teep jab, just neutralizing all of those, making Cheyenne a little bit gun shy and unsure, and how to really neutralizing the threat of some of those, like short punches were the big ones, and some spinning attacks, and just any time she could grab a hold of her, knee to the belly, knee up the center into the sternum, knee up to the face, just an absolute, clinch mauling.
Yeah, I think like when we talk about some of the other fights going through, you kind of see this like with the girls of SRG very similar, and like Allegra coming from before for like Navigator Blade trainer and partner.
Mm.
Like before, when I seen her before fight, she was like more done, like doing jumping teeps or whatever. But in
Mm.
particular, it was very like, it's just like, it was very like, stick to the game plan, solid, keep position, keep keep taking away the space. And then when she
Mm.
took away the space from there, that clinch was just so tight. So I was like, Shane was like didn't really have a chance after like going into those last couple of rounds.
Yeah, and I was glad they called it in the corner. I just thought it wasn't getting heaps better, and I thought that was a smart call. And I just thought Allegra did such a good job of just two options. You're long, my teep's going into your guards. You want to come in close with just, there's, you don't want to be out there, you don't want to be in here. Just giving her really nowhere to get comfortable. Just and one to get excited about for sure. I'm not sure if this is Allegra's first fight for SRG or first fight I've seen from her since being at SRG, definitely, and on a pretty scary path.
Yeah, sure. And I think this fight was contested at 62 kilos, and if you go down like to 61 from there, like you could get like a decent. There's some decent fights for the build up, and there's like some pretty top girls.
Yeah.
So going off from that fight now, going into was the Muay Thai League mini flyweight title. So we had Caitlin Vance from was it Pursuit Muay Thai? Or was it Bailey Fight Team?
Pursuit, yeah.
Yep, cool. Versus Gabriel De Ramos from Muay U. And this one, it was like it's like it's a styles clash pretty much.
Yeah.
You had like the Gabriel like looking like lots of nice kicks, especially the switch kick in particular, and you see Katie Vance like they kind of like strong come forward, wants to throw the hands because like the punches when they do fly the mark do make a bit of an impact as well. Gabrielle for for the fight she's had and like the limited experience she has from there, I think every fight she looks awesome. Like she really kind of like solidifies her style a lot more and looks more confident in her style as well. It looks stronger also.
Don't say that. That's biased.
Is it though? Is it because I'm
Yeah,
Philo?
it is. Like... So as such, I have nothing. I am only going to speak positively of the person who won. I'm not going to give an account of the fight because that's not what I'm here to do. Because that's bias.
Yeah, that's just bias stuff, especially.
Yeah. This fight was fine except for the bias commentary.
That's exactly right. Jesus, like he was on the mice for that one, ain't you?
Yeah, what a dickhead. What a dickhead. Yeah. As you say, stylistic clash. It was a fun fight. Caitlin is just, I really liked it. She's got a fantastic energy about her in the ring, like all forward. I like how much fun she's having. Like she's got this almost maniacal, like high volume, big smile on her face. And like you so biasly said, Gabrielle is so mature for her experience. Like I think across her amateur and now professional career, it's like 10 fights in total to Caitlin's 30 or so. And she just looks so mature beyond that experience level. And I think this was a really good kind of test fight because it was that like Gabrielle's got that very clean kind of classic style that you will see from Muay. Caitlin, much more the aggressor, the fighter archetype, if you will, looking to kind of like not so much point score. She wants to get the hands going, throwing really high volume. And it was like, you will see this in an emerging technician, someone of Gabrielle's experience that, okay, they've got the nice technique, they're able to score the points, but can they stay composed and kind of keep themselves in a position where they can continue to execute? And that I did feel was like the battle for Gabrielle, because there were times when she was scoring nicely, landing a good left kick, keeping well, looking under this. She's got a beautiful structure about her. That's something I noticed, very strong in her guard, her stance. She's very, very rarely out of place, very efficient. Like, and that was kind of the clash as well. Like Gabrielle moved a lot less, but there were times when, like Gabrielle was doing the right thing, but maybe still getting pushed back. And in particular, kind of round 4, round 5, Caitlin really started to find a home for some good punches. I think it was a good test for just like Gabrielle's craft and just forcing her to implement that beautiful Thai style. Because I felt she had the answers. Often had the answers, but it was a question of timing, a question of just being able to put up with just that relentless grip from Caitlin. I think Gabrielle was doing really beautifully rounds 1, 2, and 3, but Caitlin adjusted really well. As we say, was just relentless. Like she's not going to be. She's got that style. You can be scoring points on her clean, but she's not going to be perturbed by that. She's going to keep coming forward. She's not going to kind of sit back and try to readjust. She's just going to keep. You can score on her, but she'll move through it and kind of just like make her presence felt. I thought it was kind of that sort of fight. So a really good test for Gabrielle.
It's had that physicality. There's like, like you said, like sometimes like a lot of punches were landing on the guard, but the ones that did come through, you could definitely go, it gave Gabrielle a bit of trouble at times.
In particular, in round 5, like at the end, I thought, Caitlin was fighting like, okay, we really got to get it this round, and I think that's fair. That was a good kind of assessment, and I also think there's also worth calling out. Like Caitlin has fought so much heavier than this that like it was a good chance for her to really like see those punches potentially land with a little bit more impact. Like her whole game is so pressure oriented that that's a very hard style to fight against someone who's much bigger than you. So now at a more natural weight class, you could see those hands were real because she's made it work against bigger girls. So now, fighting a little bit lighter, it was a good chance for her to kind of take the way that she's adjusted to fighting girls that are bigger, that can kind of wear her power a little bit better and implement it against someone her own size. So, it was crazy pace on this fight.
Yeah. There wasn't like a moment of kind of like, just lacing it down many rounds. It's like, it was just pretty much go.
But I just thought it was a cool fight for both. Like it was a really good, like no one's stock went down.
Nah, not at all. I thought Gabrielle, it was a very entertaining fight.
Yeah, Gabrielle's really won over like the crowd in the Australian Muay Thai community, and I think like people only have positive things to say about her. Like, look, the reality is like a lot of people thought she won the fight. A lot of like other people. It was close. It was just one of those fights that came down to a round, I feel, and that's how it is sometimes. So just treading lightly. Both girls did really well.
I can see you just constructing every sentence you just think,
I don't know what you people want from me sometimes. Both girls, like, why don't we just break down every fight, commentate every fight, and just say both sides are doing really well.
That's it. I like both girls. There you go.
I hope both are having a really good time. No, but awesome fight. Loved it. Caitlin is just such a goer. I love her attitude. So relentless and
then these girls definitely do it again.
Oh yeah. Because really, there's not that many of them.
There's not. Yeah, well, like even like look at Gabrielle, like first in test, but she's also fought Lucy Deadman. It's like the experience gaps of like who Gabrielle's fought in just her last 3 fights is it's huge.
Yeah, I really like that about her though. She's just so unfazed and she has such an impressive level of confidence. I really like watching her fight.
For sure.
I like watching Caitlin fight too.
Yeah, all right, so next on we'll go into Dory Duncan from SRG versus.
I'm a big Dory fan.
Yes, same. And I think she's a big fan of us.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But even if she's not, that's okay. I'm a fan of her regardless. It's it's non-transactional.
You didn't get matching tracksuits, did you?
Stay tuned.
Nice. I will stay tuned. It's Duncan versus Dolly from Scotty. And it was a nice performance from Duncan. And we talked about Duncan before, like a couple of fights. The fights we've seen within the whole pro career so much so far. That very, very direct. Like know what she was going after here. I felt that she was kind of missing the mark a little bit, like probably hunting the elbows a little bit too much at times. And then because like Dolly was like well versed, kind of getting out of the way of it. But then Duncan's right kick, man, like just that second or third round. Oh my god, the sound it was making was like absolutely hideous.
It was, and I was ringside for it and really hearing it, and it's just like that was the difference maker from the very beginning. Is just that power differential. Like Dory's very athletically impressive. Technique's beautiful. But pays a lot of attention to her strength and conditioning and stuff as well. It's kind of got that mix of just like real athleticism. Just that beautiful Thai style. And that right kick is like, if you're fighting Dory, like you got to figure something out, because and you could maybe see why she would have got aggressive with the elbows and stuff. She stopped her last fight with elbows, but that right kick is just like we've seen her multiple times now, just absolutely kick girls to pieces. She's got some serious power, and like Melissa was tough, super tough. And I was someone was explaining to me in the crowd that like she is coming back from breaking both her feet or something ridiculous. Yeah, like some absolutely nuts injury. So fair play to her. But yeah, I'm. What do you think is next for Dory?
50, 60. Not too sure, just off the top of my head. But like 55. Did she can get around 55?
I think hovering. She'll go up as heavy as 58, like sort of 55 to 58 is kind of the range. Yeah.
It's like I haven't been following the 55 division that closely. That off the top of my head, I know, but it still kind of feels to me there is a lot of opportunities at 55 though.
Yeah, I think the thing with Dory now is like she needs to step up, or someone will die. You know what I mean? Like she's good, man. Like I really want to see her, and I've heard a little bit of chat that her and Katie Mitchell are keen to fight.
Really? Yeah, like okay. All right.
I love that. I don't know what. I know like Katie's come down a couple of weights, and I know that they're both keen to do it. Like to me, that's the fight. I'm very excited by the prospect of that.
If you can meet at a pretty good weight range, then why not?
Yeah. I think that's just a good ass fight. I think they're both ready. I think they're honest. Like Katie, shout out to Katie. Of course, this Saturday has got Vic Sullivan, which is a sick fight. And could be another one that would be good for Dory. Like I'd love to see any combination of those three fight, but like within New South Wales, Katie and Dory's a sick fight.
That's it. So someone's got to jump on top of that fight.
Yeah, it could be like a prospective sort of, I don't know, state title or something.
Could do. Why not?
Nai Khanom Tom challenge belt or
whatever.
I don't know. Like two really top girls that I think both kind of climbing, and you'd ask the same question. I mean, like Katie, of course, taking that step up to a world level against Vic now, and Dory's about ready to make the same jump. So let's do it.
For sure. Exciting styles.
Yeah. I'll buy a ticket.
But very much like this is. So we're buying a lot of tickets this year. So that's all right. So going to the top card now from there. So co-main event. So I had Zoe Putorak from Muay Thai versus Real Deal Gil. Oh God, didn't have that. Gym she's from.
Pretty Muay Thai.
Pretty Muay Thai. So this was for the WBC Super Lightweight National title, and there ended up being a stoppage by a nasty ass cut.
Yeah, that was an ugly cut. I was under the doctor. That was I thought it was going to be a high kick, to be honest. Yeah. I thought it was going to be a high kick. I thought that's what it looked like early.
That's what it looked like. But like Gil, she got caught a couple of times, and they started to read it a lot more. Like just started to pull back up from there.
Actually, in those kicking exchanges, she impressed me. Because you can see like Zoe really let go with some kicks early, and Zoe's a big kicker, and there was a like in terms of number of fights, no idea, but in terms of high level experience, a big gap. And like Zoe does kind of make girls wilt, like she just that aggression and the power, but like Jessie stood strong and really started to play that sway back and counter kind of kick game pretty nicely and made it a fight through the middle. But then I thought Zoe kind of slowed down and kind of let her kick a little bit, and that's what the call was coming from the corner was like, kind of don't be lazy. And not verbatim, but I think that's, Lee was kind of getting, come on, like, don't play, go for it. And then just started to cover space. She's always loved her elbows. So
Sure. It's like in the first round there, like, it's like you see Zoe, she starts like, it's, oh yeah, it's like, just because I'm used to seeing her like when she's on the infant wells, like, it's just go, go, go. And then the first round, like, you go, oh, it's staying back a bit. But then as soon as she got a hint that goes, oh, I'm hurting her, it's like straight back on the gas pedal. And I thought Gil was gonna wilt after the first round, but credit to her, like, she actually looked better in the second round.
She did, yeah.
On that fact. Zoe been doing a bit of boxing as well, so you could tell her hands were working pretty nicely. Probably like very early on, she was kind of maybe smothering her own work, just running through a little bit when she got Gil on the ropes.
Yeah.
What was that end portion there? You could see her just probably taking that one step off from when she was doing running and kind of just punching for the guard and then lacing the elbows after that seemed to be a better success.
Yeah. Zoe's kind of got like a mix of like unorthodox elements to her style. Came up through that IFMA program, which, like, you could see very forward, very high volume oriented. Now has kind of added in a bit of that boxing too, so you see her getting a little bit more comfortable, letting her hands fly. Yeah, and she's just scary, man. Like, she just charges through the ring with this maniacal smile on her faces.
It's funny, like, actually, yeah, both girls, you could just see them just the mouth guard the entire time, just they're just both grinning, just going,
yeah. Fuck you people into.
Just absolutely.
Take up Sudoku or something for us.
To chill out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Zoe won this by cut stoppage from there, and then if you watch the live stream there, you get a nice good close up of that one. I think the replay is available now. You can buy it at a pretty good price. I think $10. Yeah. So it's well worth your money to buy the.
Yeah. Give it a look. It was a wicked card.
Zoe afterwards even said, she goes, "Yep, this like the 63.5." She goes, "Yep, I'm gonna go down to 61." And as we talked before, like people like Kate Mitchell and Dick Sutherland and that, like in that weight range, there, it's like it makes a pretty interesting dance that could go along for the three of them at the moment.
Yeah, it's fun. Like, I know, like, Zoe does fight in a slightly thinner weight class, so it's interesting to start to feel like she could potentially, if she's going to go down to 61, the kind of names that you can start to throw out for her. That's quite interesting. Also worth noting, she vacated the welterweight national title to fight for this one, so that's a third weight class for her. 66, 63 and a half, and now potentially 61. So yeah,
world champion as well. So yeah, just got all the accolades. But war blood, that's what she would say.
Yeah. Psychopath.
All right, let's go to the very top end of the card now from here. So Devina won versus Marina Verissimo. So Marina's from SIG and Devina is from Muay Thai. This is for the WBC Super Flyweight National title. And so this fight was originally meant to be Kiri Bradley on there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kiri couldn't do it.
And Marina like stepped up to the plate like on short notice, and honestly made it a really good fight. Like, for what, like how short notice she took this fight as well. It's like we were saying before, like, that kind of SRG, all the SRG girls like to have like forward taping, getting into clinch from there. You can see Devina at points like really trying like trying to get the space back and circle away from Marina a lot with a bit of success, and then Marina started like reading that and throwing the low kicks. It was like it was a really good narrative that was playing throughout the fight, because I think both girls had to make certain adjustments throughout the whole game for them to kind of like the snatch rounds.
Yeah, like, this is a fight that I suppose I was quite close to. Like, I'm quite good friends with Devina. I'm pretty close with the Martin sisters. And also, like, just a massive fan of hers. I say it all the time. I really enjoy watching her fight. Also, Marina and I were actually teammates in another life, so I've had a bit to do with her too, and also a fan of her. Still very friendly with her. Wish her all the success in the world. So yes, one I was quite close to, two girls I've followed very closely, and also have watched fight twice before. Of course, this was a trilogy match. Just a cool fight in the sense that the two last fought 2 years ago for a state title, and then have both kind of continued to fight at that upper level, and now meet again at a national title level. Yeah, like you say, Marina is a soldier for, like, she was back home in Brazil in the lead up to this, took it on a couple of weeks' notice. She's got she's got 8 lungs or something. She's just always so fit. And one thing that really stands out to me about Marina, and always has, is just her strength when you clinch with her is just unbelievable. Like the way that, even in like the majority of this fight, Devina was getting the better of it. But any time that they're locked on, Devina did a really good job of neutralizing it. But you can just see how physically difficult it is to deal with Marina's lock. Like for such a she's quite small. She's got a small frame. She just has this deceptive kind of just very once she locks on, she's really difficult to move. She's just got that clinches style made of rock once she gets a hold of you, and some really nice back and forth elbow exchanges. I just thought Devina did an excellent job of being the one to land clean in the exchange. Like Marina would come forward with an elbow, Devina would kind of slide back and elbow back over the top, always landed back with the kicks. Strong, very like a great level of ring control, just really made, sort of pushed Marina around, and I think a bit of a power differential to Devina was, you could hear when they would go kick for kick, land hard, adjusted well to, as you say, Marina was starting to chop away at the leg, but Devina always takes that bigger score, fires back up to the body. Just really, really nice fight. Like I said, not sure, like we're all really looking forward to Kiri versus Devina, and hopefully we can see that down the line. But to see Marina come in here in short notice and put on the kind of fight that she did, just, fair play to her. And Devina, new Australian champion.
Yeah, nice. Well deserved.
Yeah, very well deserved, and super excited to see what's next for her, basically.
Yeah, and she said that same thing. It was like Cruz Briggs, where like this last 12 months, like just hasn't taken a step wrong. Like every time stepped up and looked better and better each time come through.
Yeah, on a hot win streak now, like, because I count the Mexico fight as a win, and ignoring that, like a domestic win streak, if you will. Yeah, stacked a few together in a row, a few really impressive performances. So I look forward to seeing what's next.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know. Is there much on the national scene left, or be really kind of hunting for that international kind of flavour now?
Could we do Joanne?
Why not? It's like, for sure. That'd be a banger.
Yeah, I like it. I'm not sure exactly how the weights line up, but I know they have common opponents, right? So can't be that fast.
Yeah, that's too far. Yeah, for sure. I don't see. Make that happen. Okay, so was there any other fights on Muay Thai League that did you want to give a shout out for? Remember? I know it was a whirlwind travel for you though.
Yeah. I put a bunch of highlights on the Combat Chat Instagram. There's some cool stoppages and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's kind of like the top end of it, and it was an absolutely cracker card. I recommend you get back on the replay and have a look. It really was a great card, beautifully put together, and yeah, I'm stoked to. Don't know what capacity I'll be at the next one. Maybe I'll fight for them. Maybe I'll commentate or whatever. But yeah, I'm super sold on what they're doing with Muay Thai League. I loved it.
Yeah, they're definitely definitely up and comers. There's even that's outside the ladies only show from there, like all the other shows, bring international opponents in, have great matchups from there,
Yeah,
and also developing juniors as well. So
yeah. Ticking all the boxes, eh?
For sure. All right, cool. So let's go to the final portion now. We'll go to so next weekend is 1774, which will both be at in different capacities, of course. Let's go with you first, mate. So you got a decent fight ahead of you with Damien Nelson from WA, Lana Muay Thai. And Yeah, how's the training camp been going leading up?
Training camp's been good. It's been really good. Like I'm tired, but like I don't know when you guys will hear this, but it's Sunday. Sunday coming into fight week now. Yeah, I'm tired to be completely honest, and I always am at this point. But I really enjoy the whole fight camp kind of process. Like it does really test you in the like. I have hard fight camps. I have really hard fight camps. Like I especially like I've been the only one. I'm the only one that is on fighting on this card, and the dynamic in our gym has very much become Chet's sort of my trainer. He looks after me and the kind of somewhat separately to everyone else, and he really fucking puts me through it. Like I think people see Chet and I goofing off a little bit on Instagram sometimes, but yeah, he really fucking puts me through the ringer every day. Like he and you know, like I come up to the last 3 weeks of fight camp, he insists on like 8 to 10 rounds of pads a day. And he's like, you know, we'll do the Thai pads, like the kick pads for 8, and then he wants to box for a couple too. And like he'll always come at me with the same thing. Like I'm like, fucking 8 rounds? Why 8 rounds? And he say, you're saying Clyde did 8 rounds.
It's like good enough.
Whatever, man. Yeah, but I'm training really hard, but I like it's at this point always that I'm grateful for every chance I get to just get in and do the job. This is what I love to do more than anything. The fight camp is the price and the fight is the reward. So we get to hear. I've never been one to whinge about the weight cut process or any of the difficulty that comes in the end. I just get on with the job because these are the boxes that you've got to tick to get in and do it. So I'm very excited to fight in Sydney again. Sold a bunch of tickets. Lots of support. It's a big card. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a top end fight. This is what we do.
Yeah, nice, excellent. So Khrushchev didn't have to lose you shit at you too much of this camp.
He did a bit, a little bit, but
a little bit. That's all right though. That's what it's all about.
it's funny. Like Chet's a super nice dude, but like he like he's a mean trainer. Like that's what I think people kind of with me he is. Like with classes he's all friendly but like he's a mean trainer. That would probably surprise people. But I can remember one day in this prep, like I was going through it a little, like you get your days, and I was just struggling to kind of keep up with his. I was missing his cue a little bit. I wasn't quite doing things the way he wanted me, and he slapped the fuck out of me with the pad. Like just Dana White's power slapped me with the fucking bit. And like I was it's whatever, I deserved it. But like I was after the pads, like I was just kind of visibly dejected. Like I wasn't happy with how I was training. But it's just like he is a nice dude, but he knows he has to be a mean trainer sometimes. He kind of like comes over and like picks me up a little bit. Like he can't, he's half the size of me, and he says in his best, he's like, you know, like I have to do this. I have to make you strong. I want you to win.
Hey man, he's after the right price. That's the main.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's I get my like it's like I said, people see us like goofing off on Instagram, but I cop it.
So we'll talk about some of the other guys. We're talking about main fights, but I'll also talk about my fighter that's on there as well. So we have Cobra Kaiway Jones fighting Carter Lawrence, which is a huge fight. And I think it's a good fight step up for him coming up to here. Carter Lawrence, as you've seen before, like from there, absolute machine of a dude. An absolute power of a man as well. Yeah. I don't know how they go up like lengthwise to each other for me because I actually understand that's Carter before.
I think Carter even might be a little taller than Carter.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
To see how like him versus Darren Chen and things like that. Man, that's a big ass dude.
Yeah,
but for Carter Lawrence, I like everything about Carter Lawrence. Fan of his, so like to go against him with Kai from there, this is awesome. And I think Kai is like training up this one in particular, like you just like opponents make you train a certain way, and you kind of know, like every fighter trains hard, of course, for fights coming here. But there's a certain thing when there's like when you're stepping up a level, the showman's like, oh fuck, okay, yeah, like every box is gonna be ticked no matter what, and that's how Kai's looked this whole camp. Looks absolutely fantastic for this one. Been doing a few rounds down at SRG as well, just to make sure we're just rounding out his sparring in particular, and that. And yeah, I'm really excited to see him do the business come next week. Should be a nice, fun one.
Yeah, I think that's sort of like the outsider, like sort of the story of this fight's. Kai's strung a few wins together now. Carter, I would say, has more high level experience. Like he's fought probably more top end guards to say. Drew, Darren Chen, Drew Jordan Fielding too. Fought Yotong Tai. Joe from SRG has fought like a little collection of pretty top end guys. Kai's been sort of chasing that top end, but I do think for a lot of people, as Kai is probably the less proven or maybe the less known of the two. And it's always the question with someone like Kai who has that kind of physical advantage, like being so much taller. It's like, can he implement his game against someone who he doesn't have that advantage over? And that is going to be the big test for him. In addition to Carter's experience, it's just that he can match Kai's frame effectively, and that's a really good opportunity.
Yeah, nothing but positives in this fight as well. So
yeah.
I don't think there's any way Scott can drop from it, especially if he best foot forward in this fight. So
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just go to the top end of this card from that one. So just ring up the 7074 Instagram page. So we have Max McVicker, as we talked about earlier in the podcast before, versus
Pinpet Banjamek.
How about because we have these two fights with these two ties that are coming through. They might not know the background of these ties. Are you able to give us a bit of background knowledge on the ties that are fighting on the top end of this card?
Yeah, Pinpet and Beckham, both Davey and Max's opponents, are from Banchamek, of course, the gym owned by Borkal. Pinpet very much in that style of he's been fighting in that kind of 3-round format recently. He's done a bit of kickboxing. To be honest, I've not seen that much of Pinpet. He's not been as active recently, but like I said, he's been fighting 3-rounders, fighting that kind of. He's quite a busy stylist. He's quick, likes throwing combination, not like a kind of not like a sit back counter fighter. Won't be surprised if he really comes after Max. You can often see when the Thais come over and fight Westerns, there's that little element of disdain. Let's see. But I know he'll take Max seriously, but I can see him getting on the front foot and kind of trying to overwhelm Max. I think, if anything, like you look at a conventional Thai versus Westerner matchup, Max is more the kind of IQ fighter in this equation. I can see Pinpet being aggressive. I can see him kind of taking a high volume approach against Max and really kind of trying to make him uncomfortable. But let's say I think this one's going to be quick. You can expect some really high level exchanges and let's see if Max can get that left kick going.
Yeah, left kick. Also doesn't mind a left elbow as well. Seems to like that. So, do you know if this is a fight? This is a 5-round fight.
Yeah, 5-round fight.
Yeah, that's what. It's especially in this case.
It's a fun ass fight, man. Yeah, looking forward to seeing Max back. He, of course, coming back from his broken foot.
Yeah, ready to put on across someone's head.
Yeah,
test it out of it. So going into here, so WBC International Middleweight title is on the line here. So yeah, David Pennimpede from Muay is going to be versing Beckham. Big Win Champions Gym.
who also fights out of Banchamek. I'm not sure if his fight name now is Beckham Banchamek or still Big Win Championship.
Nice. I like it. How do you see this fight on the league?
I mean, like biased. I see. Obviously, I like Davey and Max are like my dudes, so I want them to win. But I also see Davey being too much for Beckham in this fight. Beckham's like a very dangerous character. He's a knockout fighter. Similarly, he has had, he's a super champ, tournament champion, so he can do the 3-round thing. He's aggressive. He's got big hands. Can really get his knees going. But I do see, I see David being, I think David's quite a bit more physically imposing than Beckham is. David's going to bring, David's a very well-sized middleweight. He's a big dude at 72 kilos. I can see Beckham being tricky early. I can see Beckham scoring some points early, but I think over the course of 5 rounds, Davies is going to be too much for him. I see him just pick like you kind of see when he fought Devitt. Devitt was winning the points early, but Davey just knew how to answer back and make his presence felt over the course of that fight, and eventually climbed his way. Just overtook, just stay in it, and then pull away as the fight progresses. I can see it being that kind of fight.
Yeah, for sure. Can't give any kind of early respect to the tie from there, so I can't let him get into a rhythm or comfortability of anything.
Yeah. You can't play games. You got to play the game with them, but you can't play games with them. You got to impose your will, score the points, and just make as we say, make your presence felt. And I see David being quite a tough style match for Beckham, but Beckham very dangerous challenger. I think knocked out Victor Hugo to win this title. And I like these fights. It is Beckham defending his title. It's I'd like to see more of that, to be honest.
Excellent. So 70-74 is looking to be a pretty big card. Other names on there as well. You have 50 Shades, Jason Scott on there. You have Cody Trey on there also. What I'm interested in seeing as well, because this is the first big show that's going to do A and B grade pros and New South Wales. So if you haven't known already in New South Wales, because with the class system in place, all these big shows like the 74s, Yokkao, Southern Sydney's now, then you won't see those kind of the headgear amateurs anymore. You're going to just get the A class pros, which is what this main card's all about, but you're also going to get the B class pros.
Yeah.
You're going to get just the elbow pads on. So I'm really interested to see who's going to be stepping up and doing the B grade pros up on these shows as well.
Yeah, and a fun kind of B class undercut for this one too.
Yeah, I think I saw a couple of names. Like, oh, nice.
It's going to be good.
It's good that people. It's good that people just actually just kind of delving into it. Just go, fuck it, let's do it.
Definitely.
Let's try this. Let's try the C class. Let's try these classes out. And it's looking like it's a pretty good response.
Yeah.
Excellent, cool. And other than that, I think that's it, mate. Yeah.
Could be us.
Yeah, it's a late night for both of us. Got to get our shadow in. So also as well, make sure you wish your boy Hugh a happy birthday from the other day.
I'm not as old as you all think I am, but happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to Hugh. Happy birthday, mate.
Thank
you.
Other
than that, guys, catch the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's on YouTube, so give us a subscribe, like, share this episode as well. And then other than that, catch you next week, eh?
See ya.